Eternals is the newest film in the MCU. It feels like I've been saying that a lot this year, and this isn't even the last one. It is directed by Chloe Zhao, who directed Nomadland, which won Best Picture, and I think she won Best Director for it as well. It's a very good movie, and this stars a lot of people, and if I name just the main stars alone, this review would already be 4 minutes long. There's a lot of people in this movie, and the IMDb description of the film is the saga of the Eternals, a race of immortal beings who lived on Earth and shaped its history and civilizations. Now, this film has a lot of characters in it, and that is like the most broad explanation of it, but I don't really want to say more about it because there's a lot to unpack with the film. Did it deliver? I don't know. No spoilers in this review, do not worry. I saw this one tonight, and I've actually filmed this review like 4 other times, but it's just hard for me to put into words what I feel about the film, so I'm going to do my best here. This movie is solid, and I have to reiterate that. I have a ton of problems with it, but there's also a lot of things I like. I like this movie, and I recommend it for those who like the MCU. Do I think that this should be your first MCU film if somehow you've avoided them all? Absolutely not. This is totally different from everything in the MCU for about half the film. A lot of people say this is the most different one, and they're right. There is about half of this movie that is completely new and fresh, which I like. But then there's that other 50%, which is like the low stakes, big CGI battles. At least for me, that's how I felt about the movie. But one thing I will say first off is the film does look amazing. Despite the battles and all that, the film is incredible to look at. Now, I did not see this in like IMAX or anything. I didn't even see it in a great theater. I just saw it in our theater that's in town, which is not a chain one or anything. It's not the best theater out there, but the movie looks great. Chloe Zhao has a very specific vision, and I think that it worked well visually in the movie, and I have to keep reiterating that visually this movie is great. The CGI all works except one exterior shot of a plane, which really stuck out to me, but that is a nitpick. That is not a problem at all. Don't worry. All the CGI is fantastic. All these powers are just so cool, and it's so much fun to watch and look at. But the characters are seriously lacking here. All the acting is really great in the film. I really enjoyed everybody's performance, from Richard Madden to Kit Harrington. It was very nice seeing them on screen together. I haven't seen all of Game of Thrones, but I've seen enough of it, if you know what I mean. Angelina Jolie is in here, Kumail Nanjiani. We have so many people, and I like the performances. It's just the development of the character which really is just not there. When the film tries to go for emotional scenes, it did not work for me at all. I felt so disconnected to the movie because we have like 9 or 10 new characters, and I totally understand this is a massive challenge, but introducing all these ones in like 2.5 hours or whatever is just impossible almost. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy did a really good job in like 2 hours and 15 minutes, but again, there was only like 5 characters in the movie, and for the Avengers 2012, obviously we had a few films before that to introduce these characters, so I totally understand it was a big challenge for them to bring in all these characters, and it's really felt within this movie. There are so many scenes where important things will happen to these characters, and I was just like, oh, okay. Again, I like the acting, and I like some of the characters. There were definitely ones I liked more than the other. My favorite was probably Kumail Nanjiani's character. I think that he was, of course, really good in the movie, very funny. When it seemed like his improving, it was funnier. They did give him a bunch of really cheesy lines, and there's some stuff in this movie that will not age well just because it refers to like social media and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's like that Fortnite thing in Endgame. It was just kind of like odd, but he has a lot of really great jokes here, and there's something going on with his character and somebody else, which I won't mention, of course, because no spoilers in this review, but it really worked for me. Richard Madden really stood out as Superman without a cape. That's what he is. They referred to him once in the movie as that. He was really cool, and again, the powers were really nice to see here. Everybody acting-wise was really good, but the characters lacked so much, so I felt really disconnected with the movie, so when big things happened, I just did not care. And again, I like the movie, and I'm going to say that a million times there. I know I just basically repeated what I just said, but it's important for me to say I like the movie, and I recommend it to MCU fans. To the general audience, you will not like this movie. You will not know what the hell is going on, and even as an MCU fan, I at times did not know what the hell was going on because they have all this stuff in space, your typical phase 2 MCU movie type stuff, and again, I love a lot of the movies from there, but you have the low stakes, high action CGI battles at times, and it's cool to see to a certain extent. When the film tries to wrap up, I was just like, okay, this is exactly what I expected. Was it cool? Was it nice to see? Yeah. Did I care at all? No, and that's, I think, my biggest problem. Yeah, the characters kind of fell flat, but I just did not really care about what I was seeing on screen, and that's one of the worst things that could happen with a movie. I really enjoyed a lot of it, but again, it's kind of like 50-50 in a way. I recommend... I'm having a very hard time describing this movie and describing my feelings on it. I'm going to be completely honest. It is very difficult for me to describe my feelings about the movie. There's a lot of things I liked, a lot of things I didn't like, and I never really have a problem describing what I feel about a movie. And I don't know what it is about this movie. Maybe it is because it's so different from the other ones, but there's just something that almost stumps me about the movie. It's different, it's solid, it's cool to watch, but there's just not that impact that I really want when it comes to seeing awesome superheroes on screen. Because I love superheroes. I think that some of those movies are some of my favorites of all time, especially, the Batman movies and stuff like that. But I really do love a lot of what Marvel does. But there's just something about this movie that was so different. Again, guys, this never really happens in reviews, but I've done this like 4 times. I don't know. There's something about Eternals that just really stumps me. Eternals is by far the most different MCU film yet. Chloe Zhao's vision is grand, epic, and visually stunning. All the acting is great, but the characters are seriously lacking, and because of that, all the emotion is absent. Obviously, I recommend seeing it if you're an MCU fan, but this is definitely lower tier MCU for me. I'm going to give Eternals a 3 out of 5. It was hard for me to kind of figure out what my rating was going to be. I was originally going to go with a 3.5 out of 5, but I realized that I can't give it the same rating as something like Black Widow. And when comparing it to the other MCU projects coming out this year, I'm going to rank them when Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, which I am super excited for. But this one is the lowest besides What If. What If is my least favorite, and then this one. This one is not nearly as good as Shang-Chi. It is not as good as Black Widow, and I didn't love Black Widow. I really love Shang-Chi. I think Shang-Chi is a great film. The more I think about it, the more I really enjoyed. This film is not close to that. There's a lot of great things. There's a lot of stuff I didn't like. Again, guys, I apologize. I don't know what it is. There's just something in the movie that really stumped me, and I've said it like 3 times, but I want to know what your thoughts are on the film. Please tell me in the comments down below. Where does it rank amongst the other films? Do you agree with me that this one is lower end, or did you really enjoy it? And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.